Today we're going to be installing a Factory55 Fairlead, a Flatlink, and a rope guard on the front of the 5th gen 4Runner. Welcome to Snail Trail 4x4, I'm Jimmy Jet. If you like building Toyotas and going off-roading, then this is the channel for you. Today we're going to be installing a bunch of Factory55 equipment. And the benefit of Factory55 equipment is it makes it really compact and tight, so you still have a really good approach angle on your vehicle. This is a Flatlink, and the benefit of the Flatlink is that when you're sucking in your winch, it can turn and get nice and flat on the front of your vehicle and be tight. Where you have a massive Fairleads and those big bulbous hooks always hanging out, and you are ruining your approach angle. So today we're going to be improving the approach angle by Factory55 equipment. Here's the front of the 4Runner, and it's pretty tight and smooth here. This is actually a pretty decent little Fairlead, nice and tight. What the Factory55 one is going to benefit is it's just going to look better and nice and clean inside of there with not something super bright. But you see how this hook hangs out, and then it's really big and stuck on here on the side, and it's ruining your approach angle, where we would have something nice and flat right in here, where we can winch in one of these and then suck it in right there and hold it nice and tight and close in and have a better approach angle, and nothing really dangling out and sitting out in front. So we loosened the winch, just pulled the cable out, and we put it over here into the vise. Our next step is we're going to have to cut the eyelet with the grinder so that we can get this eyelet or the cable out of here, the rope, synthetic rope, out of this location. I just put some basic painter's tape on the rope, so if any sparks hit it, we're not going to have any burn marks or have any problems on the rope at all. So we did our 2 cuts. We got that one right up top there. We got that one down there. We had to make big enough room to fit this completely off. So now that this is off, we're going to pull the Fairlead off the front of the bumper, put the new one on, and then we can install the Flatlink on here. The next step is for us to remove the Fairlead. It's an 18mm bolt on this side and a 19mm nut on the back side. So we have to hold both of those to yank these off. I'm just going to get this guy to cinch up against there. Now we can loosen it up. There we go. All right, so we got the Fairlead off right here, and now we're just going to pull it all the way down the cable. It's kind of hard to do with one hand, but we're going to take this all the way off. Thanks, Brendan.
Yeah, I got you.
There we go. And now we can, on the new cable, we can add the Factory55, and then we'll bolt it back up. Right there.
Ooh, yeah.
It looks good.
Oh, that's not going to work.
Bolt doesn't fit. Bummer.
And we didn't get hardware with this thing.
Yeah.
Ace?
Ace is the place.
Ace is the place.
So now we got the correct hardware. So we're going to slide the eyelet through the Fairlead, making sure that it's pointing out. One of the things we need to take into account is what they call the danger zone. The danger zone is the metal shroud of the bumper and the curvature of the Fairlead. You don't want the synthetic rope at all rubbing on the bumper. So you've got to adjust your Fairlead up and down so that it's not going to rub at all. And if you need to, you're going to have to grind that section away and make sure that you clean it up so there are no other burrs or anything there. This bumper happens to have a big opening, so I'm not concerned about it. I'm just going to put this in there and then just make sure that it's going to be up and above. I can feel it with my fingers where I actually have a good gap. So now let's put in the hardware. The new hardware that we got happens to be a 7/16 bolt, 1.5 inches long. That fits really well for us between the bumper and the winch that's on the inside. These happen to also be 11/16. Yep, 11/16 nut and bolt. We're also adding lock washers on the back. What I did is I pushed the Fairlead all the way to the top so I can reach in there and feel with my hands that the rope is not going to connect with the bumper at all. Even on the top side, it's not going to connect since the rope's coiled underneath. So we're clear all around. Just going to hold it up top. The next step on this Flatlink for us is we're going to install a rope guard. The rope guard protects the rope and link, and anytime you do hit your front end, it'll be protected by this billet aluminum piece while it's wrapped around that bar inside. So to put the rope guard on, we have to take off these 4 rubber sections right here. And to do that, you just kind of pry it back with a screwdriver, and then they just pop right off. Now that we have all 4 of those rubber parts off, I'm actually going to pull this center section out. It doesn't say that we have to, but I'm going to do it anyway just so it's not banging around. On the inside here, there is a snap ring there, so I'm going to use some snap ring pliers and just stick them on in and squeeze them together. Actually, I've converted these snap ring pliers to be more like needle nose, so you can just pinch them together. Oops. And pull this out. Like so. Then this just slides on out by itself. The rope guard has 4 little indents right here, so it matches up perfectly on the Flatlink and it won't move around, so you can just set it up there. And then they supply 5 of these little punch rivets that are going to go in on the top, and then we'll use a punch and a hammer and we'll just punch them down and in. We're just going to slide that in, push it down, put the punch on there, and then whack it. There we go. You punch them down till they are completely flat on top, all 4 of them. And I guess the only thing that we really need to say is make sure that you orientate the Flatlink and the lettering in the direction that you want so you're not putting it on upside down. And the last step for us is now to replace the rubber on the backside. Because we already removed the main pin, now what we're going to do is we're going to slide this eyelet over the center. We're going to slide the pin back through. Lights come on. And then we'll put the snap ring back in. And I didn't grab my snap ring pliers, so I'll get them now. Stick that snap ring right back inside there. Make sure that it sit inside of that ring. Just so you can push it down and just take a quick peek at it. Make sure it's sitting in there. And Flatlink with the rope guard is done. Now we're going to suck this winch back in and put it all into place. I'll just walk with it. So there we have it. We've installed the Factory55 Fairlead, Flatlink, and rope guard. We're super happy with the overall appearance of these 3 things all together on the front of this vehicle. What we really like is that the rope is no longer exposed out in the front. It's all tucked away, hidden, and extra hidden with the rope guard on the front. Thanks for watching so much. Hammer down on that subscribe button. Don't forget, keep crawling.